In this lesson, I want to make some quick updates to the website because ideally I think the search bar should be within that main navigation bar, and maybe we should just move these all the way up. So the way to change this is where we're setting up the nav bar, because right now we've got it positioned, we're using that whole nav bar there. But if we only want to apply it to the unordered list, it'll make some really nice changes to it. So it'll bring that all in line. It's gonna remove that little bit of a buffer above it, and it'll bring all of our elements there in line. So now all we need to do is move that search back down. So let's find where the search was, and we've got it positioned top. So let's bring it back down to position at the bottom of the header element. And this way we've got the search, we've got the nav, and everything falls into place really nice and neatly. And of course, until we resize. But we are going to take a look at that and update that at a later point. But right now we've got our navigation, we've got our header here, and we've got our search. So everything looks like it's aligning a little bit better. So it all depends on how you want to present your website content. All of this is actually just falling in line with our original design. When we go back to our original design that we're looking at, so we do have some spacing in between the header there, so we can add that in if we so choose to do so. So when I refresh it, we see that there is some spacing there, so we can add that in, or we don't have to. We also have some spacing between the different headering elements and the main content, so we can really easily add in some padding there. So let's go ahead and we're going to identify our content now. So we can add the spacing in above content as margin, or we could add it below heading as margin. So depending on how we want to utilize it. So I'm going to do margin, and maybe we'll do margin top to add in some spacing there. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the head section. Probably going to be removing this at a later point, but this is so we can easily identify where that content section fits in. And so now we've got that spacing between the two, and this is our main content section. So let's take a look at that, and we're going to work on that. And one of the things too that I wanted to do here is I want to remove out the background color from the wrapper, and I'm going to move that down to the content section, because I think this will present a little bit nicer. So we see that we've got two clear identifiable areas where we're holding in content, and maybe even the header we need to make some updates to that and add in a background color. And I am going to use a grayscale just because I'm not really sure about the colors that we want to use right now. So I'm going to just pick maybe this dim gray or something like that, and see how that looks. And then now actually we probably need to make the font lighter. So just pick in some random colors there so it stands out a little bit more. So now we're ready to start working on that content. And I did mention in the last video that, well, these images aren't really resizing properly. So there's a really easy fix to that, and we just do max width 100%. And let's take a look at that. So now we see that automatically by adding that max width, it just allows us to set the max width of the image to the maximum size that's available within that container. So it's a quick fix to make your images responsive. So in the next section, we're going to dive deeper into updating our content and making it look a lot more presentable. So that's coming up in the next set of lessons.